folks. Welcome to Conversations on Main. I'm your host, Nathan Sinclair Vineyard, and we're here with the super fantastic Amber Hansen from the Egyptian Theater. And we're live here at Zoom Restaurant in Park City, right on Main Street. It's an absolutely fantastic fall day. It really kind of turned crisp, and the leaves have changed. I was driving up through Main Street, and I noticed that on the western side of Main Street, all the trees are starting to turn, and we have some bright reds, some beautiful oranges, and getting some yellows. Not too much yellow, but it's just absolutely fantastic fall weather. And guess what? We have the fire going, folks. The fire is going here at Zoom. It's absolutely wonderful. But Amber, thank you so much for coming on to our little show here, Conversations on Main.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Amber is actually a native Utahn. She's from Salt Lake City, but she has traveled, folks. She's been around.
Yeah.
She's done a lot of interesting things, and we're gonna get to know her a little bit. Besides where you're from, what else about you that people should know about Amber Hansen?
Well, I'm a performer by trade. I do a lot of different things. I got my degree from the University of Utah in acting, which doesn't give you a job after college. So I decided to pack up my bags and bum around Europe for about 8 months. I thought I would be just a street performer, I guess, and I had a great time, traveled around.
Where in Europe did you go?
I went everywhere. I went to
Really?
8 different countries. I ended up in Greece for the 2004 Olympics and just worked for a friend of mine.
You weren't competing, were you?
Maybe competing in who could drink the most ouzo. No, I just was trying my best to make money. I mean, I worked for this friend of mine for the 2002 games here in Park City, selling pins, and it was, we made a killing. But in Greece,
Cool.
it was a totally different story.
Really?
Different market in Greece. People were not buying the pins. The pin trade there was a drought of pin trading. But
Did you guys make the pins?
No. It's all
Okay.
like Olympic,
Yeah.
like official Olympic stuff.
Okay.
But
What an adventure.
yeah, no, it was a great adventure, and kind of opened my eyes to the rest of the world. And
Wow.
it's the first time I really was out on my own and realized that things don't always happen the way you plan, and
Yeah.
so it toughened me up a lot. And I moved to New York to try to do
That'll
the-
toughen you up.
Yeah, it really did. I feel like I kind of grew up there,
Wow.
But I just always had Utah in my heart. Like, when I was younger and wanted to be an actress, and I couldn't wait to get out of this place, and went to New York and had relative success there. But coming home, it always had a hold of my heart, especially the mountains. Like, there's just something about them that I just will not live without them anymore. So
Really?
it's like, I came home, and I feel at home and have a great job in Park City. I love being in Park City. It's just Utah's just really the most beautiful place on earth. And I've been to lots of different places.
So how long have you been here in Park City?
For the last 2 years, 2.5
Okay.
years. Moved back in April of 2009 and landed a job at the Egyptian Theater, which is just right up my alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what would you say is your favorite part of Park City?
Well, obviously the nature. There's just so many things to do outdoors. The people here are really great. Like, at first I was a little bit intimidated because, you hear that Park City people have a lot of money and, all that kind of thing. But I've just met really great people, really
Yeah.
warm people.
Yeah.
And, everybody has this attitude that life is good here, and it's so refreshing.
It is.
It's nice to be around people who love being outdoors, who love their life here, and not, and a lot of great supporters of the theater, and a lot of great supporters of the things I'm trying to do. And I've just met, I feel like I just feel at home here. So I'm glad to be here.
We're glad you're here too. And You know, that's what's so beautiful about Park City is that you can find so many different types of people,
Yeah,
but they're all kind of on the same wavelength.
right. And it's a small mountain town, but there's always something going on. Like it's such an exciting town.
Yeah.
There's always something going on.
Yes. And right now, you're going on.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
live right
that's
here.
right.
Folks, if you're just tuning in, we're live here at Zoom Restaurant with Amber Hansen from the Egyptian Theater. We're having a fantastic conversation. Amber is a quality individual. She's traveled. She's a director. She's been in plays. And she's also part of the Egyptian Theater. And we'll get into that a little bit, but we want to know a little bit more about Amber.
All right.
So Amber, you know, part of the thing we do, one of the main things we do here is get to know you as an individual in a different way.
Okay.
And so, what would you like to share with us? Do you have a favorite poem or a favorite song or?
Yeah, I guess you could say I'm a bit of a conflicted individual, because my favorite poem is probably America by Allen Ginsberg, who was a known communist. But then my favorite author is Ayn Rand, who's like a super capitalist. So I'm just I don't know. I have a conflicted belief system, but I just find value in all forms of expression, and everybody comes from different places and different circumstances, and it's I try my best to understand from an artistic point of view people's individual circumstances, because that's what theater and what art is about, is just an expression of people's lives. And I just find it so interesting how many differing views there are in this world, and it's almost like acting is like a philanthropy. You have to dive into a different part of people's lives, and I just find it fascinating. Even in Park City, I meet so many different kinds of people who come from different parts of the world, and there's such a huge difference between people that were born and raised here and then people that moved here.
Yeah.
We all share that same passion. Everybody shares that same passion for life.
Well, you're
Not
pretty.
to get too deep, because I'm actually not a very deep individual.
I think you are deep. I think you're reading Ayn Rand. You're reading some very powerful literature.
Right.
What would you say is your favorite play?
Well, I recently, last November, got to do my favorite play at the Egyptian Theater Studios, which is it's a black box theater that used to be the old Dance Tex Theater. We turned it into 2 classrooms to teach our youth theater classes in, and then we turned one of the rooms into a black box, like a working black box theater. And so
Now, is that in the Egyptian Theater?
No, it's across the street in the
Okay.
lower level of the
Yeah.
mall. So it's just right across the street. We're connected in a way.
Yeah.
The first play we ever did there was Danny in the Deep Blue Sea by John Patrick Shanley, and it's just he's such a great writer. The way he writes dialogue and his characters are just so rich and so believable, and it's a really heavy play. And I do a lot of comedy, so for me,
Do you?
Yeah, I do. That's all I ever do. I'm typecast
Awesome.
as the quirky best friend. I'm not at all any kind of leading woman, but this was, it's a 2-person play, 1 man and 1 woman, and it's just really heavy material, but it's beautifully written, and the emotional development and just the span of emotion is just so rich. And I played the woman, and Jesse Peary played Danny, and it was directed by Terrence Goodman, who's a legacy in the state of Utah as far as theater's concerned, and it was just a great experience for me. My favorite play, by far, and
why was it your favorite play?
I think because the character of Roberta, who I played, I felt like was written for me to play in a way.
Yeah.
And I just connected with her, and not because I shared any kind of life experience that she had. I mean, she's way different from me, thank goodness. But though it's just beautifully written. It's like just a tragic story, and it's real people. Like it takes place in like these people are from like the seediest area of the Bronx, and they're just not good people, but they're still feeling individuals, and they experience they experience pain the same way. And to actually get to the meat of that kind of character, who, you know, on the surface is really a tough person, but to dive into their emotional life and really explore that, and really you know, discover the underlying emotions that really everybody has. It's just a really great play too. It's really intense from beginning to end. It's only an hour long, but it was a great performance. I think we did as good a job as we could have done with it. You know, got great reviews, and it was just such a blessing for me to not only produce my favorite play, but to star in it. You know, it was just like it was like the top, the peak for me.
We like that.
Yeah.
We like the peaks.
Yeah. And then,
where can people find that if they wanted to look more into it?
Well, it's a pretty well-known play. John Patrick Shanley's one of the most popular playwrights in most popular American playwright. And he's written a lot of movies and stuff like that too, like Moonstruck and Joe versus the Volcano. So it's like that. It's, you know, the dialogue that he writes is just amazing. But yeah, you can find it. I don't know. Terrence, the director of the show, keeps talking about how he wants to do it again somewhere. But, you know, look out for that. Hopefully, it would be great. It would be another great experience. We just had a limited run. I felt like we were just gaining momentum with it, and then it was over.
Yeah.
And that's just the weirdest thing about being in a production and doing a production, is you're so invested for like 3 months of rehearsal and like grueling performances, and, you know, like after every show, it was only an hour long, but after every show I was exhausted, just like emotionally and physically, and then it's over and you're like, oh, I had to go back to being a regular person, and it's a weird transition.
I did the play Antigone at UVU, and it got to the point to where you get so attached and involved with the character and the experience that when you go back to your regular life, it's like that's the play.
Yeah.
Your quote unquote regular life, you know. And
right.
It's so rich and fun.
Yeah. Well, Antigone's that's a heavy one as well.
It's very, very heavy.
Yeah.
It's tragedy. Just tons of tragedy in that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I did get to wear armor and run and fight and do all kinds of
and be a different person and live a little bit of a dream, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great experience.
So now you're a director as well, right?
I am, yeah. I try to, you know, like I had relative success in New York, but a lot of like upset and setbacks, and being an actor is really tough. It's a struggle. You know, you have to be really thick-skinned and hard and take a lot of rejection, but at the same time, at the same instant, you have to make yourself very vulnerable so that you can feel emotion and portray that, and then immediately go back to being hard. So you have to be able to accept 99% of the time you're going to be told no and rejected, and it's like, you know, you get tired of it. So when I came back from New York, I was, you know, done being an actor. I wanted to be a theater manager. I wanted to direct, and being a director is also very difficult because you're in charge of not only actors and what comes along with the emotional life of an actor, but designers and technical people.